Do you find your grocery bill is adding up to more than you expect? Guess what? You're probably shopping wrong, but don't worry. We've got helpful tips to put in your cart, courtesy of financial expert Bruce Sellery.
God, it is so good to see you in person. You look amazing.
So do you.
You spent the entire pandemic working out, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, I kind of did.
Yeah, you did.
But I also spent it eating.
Good.
Which is why this topic is very close to my heart.
Yes.
So we have seen each other around the hood. We have not seen each other here. How does it feel?
No. It's like Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, and my birthday all rolled into one. I'm so happy to be here.
I feel the same way, honey. Okay, we've got a special request from a family in Mississauga for you. That is in Ontario. They need help with their grocery bills. Take a look.
We are the Vincents and we have an 8-month-old son.
As you can see, we're a small unit, but expenses add up. Keeping down the cost of our groceries has been a real struggle. We were hoping you could help us with the same.
Thank you in advance. Your help and support is much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay, could we have found a sweeter family?
They're so sweet.
They're adorable. So what do you think?
I want to meet the baby.
Yeah,
Where's the baby?
Sleeping. The baby was sleeping.
Remember how much diapers cost?
Yes.
Huge deal. So the first thing is that they want help. And not everybody does, right? So I went and saw a nutritionist, and she wanted to give me some help on healthy treats. So she's like, these cinnamon roasted squash cookie, I don't want that. I want to take a full double chocolate cookie and have a dollop of whipped cream in my mouth, like from the fridge.
I
don't want to improve that. But grocery shopping absolutely is a big, big budget item, and I can help the Vincents.
Okay, so where do they start?
They're going to start with a list, which I know is the most boring thing ever in the history of advice, but it makes such a big difference when you're in the grocery store. It also requires you to do some menu planning, right? So they start with a list, they show up at the store, and then they're going to freestyle a little bit, right? Because you look and you're like, well, there's a sale on this, there's a sale on that, so you can swap out the chicken for pork because it's on sale, which is tip number 2. You do want to shop the flyer. I don't look at it in advance. I show up at the store, I pull the flyer out, and I look for what's called the door crashers, like the really, really big items. And so I think the flyer is important. It's going to alter the kind of things that you throw into your cart.
Got it. Okay, so you look at the flyer when you get to the grocery store, but do you clip coupons?
I do not clip coupons.
You don't do that?
And I know a lot of people do. A lot of people also use apps. So there is one called Flip. There's save.ca. They can be great. In the case of the Vincents, what I think they should look at is diaper delivery. They can get a weekly subscription. They have that. It's a weekly subscription. You save 20% if you just set it up on autofill. And we know that kid's going to use those diapers. That's how that goes. I personally go to the same store every time because I find that I can know how things work. I know exactly where to find the meat that's enjoy tonight for 50% off, which is what I love to do. I'm like, I'm enjoying that tonight. Thank you. I also recommend they look at unit prices because sometimes cereal in particular, you could pay less for the full price family size than for the smaller box that's on sale. You really have to look at unit prices to know the difference.
And this is why the kids need to stay in school. Learn math. This is where it all comes in. It's when you're buying food, because to measure the unit price, you got to know sort of like, very simplistic math. Now, do you ever worry about over shopping? And if you do, is there something that you do with those items?
I don't, thanks to the pandemic. So we created, remember the days when the world was ending and you literally had to buy enough groceries to last you through Armageddon for 2 years? We built what we call the store. It's basically some shelves in the basement. But we say, like we need some cereal, we need some coffee. Hey, Abby, go check out the store. So it's all there and it's out of sight. This is the key thing, it's out of sight, because here's what happens in human psychology. If you see 20 boxes of facial tissue, you're going to be like wiping your face as a leisure activity. If you've only got 1 box of facial tissue, you're going to take a teeny tiny corner and be like, oh, I only have 1 facial tissue left. And I know this because I used to be the brand manager for Royale Facial Tissue. And if we could sell you 20 boxes, you would consume more. If you only bought 1, you would be able to feel the scarcity of only having 1 box left.
Is there any other tips for what to do when you've got too much stuff?
Well, I first was raised by someone who completely ignored best before dates. Like, you look at the yogurt and you're like, that's Ted Lasso season 1. Like, that's totally fine. I'm allowed to eat that. So I don't pay a lot of attention to best before dates. But what I do is I merchandise the fridge. So if you want to find something delicious, you're moving past the leftovers from last night. And I sell it. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I present Korean beef from last night. And it is there for everyone to see when you open the fridge. There's a red lid on everything. So you want to sell it just like a retailer would do.
Yes.
It's really important to have the perishables be front and center so you don't have to go looking for them.
I like that. You got to put them right there or they're just going to be slime.
Yeah.
Okay, any other advice you have for folks out there looking to shop better?
Yeah, I would say it is very important when it comes to perishables to avoid food waste, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a really significant cost, and I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, which we're going to talk lemons. So I buy lemons because you tell me to buy lemons. I'm supposed to do things with lemons. I never use the lemons. I don't use the lemons. I'm not using the lemons. I'm going to take my extra lemons and drop them by your house. I'm going to drop them by your house.
Leave them on my porch.
So don't buy them with things that aren't perishable, that are either in the store, in your basement, or in your freezer. Do a grocery reset once every month, once every other month. And a grocery reset is you don't grocery shop. So you open your freezer and you're like, oh, these tired chicken breasts and pierogies and spinach. I have to use them because there's no other food. So a grocery reset makes a really big difference, as does giving it away. Like there are certain spices and stuff that I look at and I'm like, I'm never using that. So find someone who will and get it out of your house.
I love the tips. It's so good for this family.